then sometimes we would place a paper down or foil down, depending what you use behind your chair. Again, doing a straight 3VR, 40 volume, and then choosing our high fusion color of choice and what do we want to see we'll reflect with. Being that we really wanted to see depth within our color, we opted to use blue. Now, what we're showing you here on screen is red because that's the colors that we have so you can see from screen. But what we did her color was blue high fusion and 20 volume. That's called smearing your colors. You're going to see Whitney that's going to come out soon. She's our strong redhead, and that's what we did with her color. Sometimes, in some circumstances, our guests don't want to see punky colors, but they want to see more reflect. So by doing this, you can actually add like a highlight in the hair. Now, in some ways too, you don't always have to use foils. So optional too, you can take, just keep taking sections down, placing your 3VR on top, placing your 3VR on top, taking your high fusion, lapping it on, and again, taking your colors and placing them on top again. This technique too is like what we're going to show you on a lawn called Rip-Ride Tone. Sometimes the colors can touch. So by doing this, you're not isolating the areas. There's 2 points of what can happen when you isolate. First thing is, if you keep your sections finer and you don't clump them together, your colors will lift more consistently and they'll lift brighter. So here's something we see a lot in our industry. How many of us have ever seen this before? I love your color, and then you go to finish it and you're pulling your color through and you're doing this, and you let it rest in a big like updo on top of the head. We've done that before, right? Especially if someone's got like, you know, hair down to here. So we pull it up and we turn down. There's a big misunderstanding. The reason why your color won't process on the inside is because oxygen won't get in there. Have you ever heard that before? Where is your oxygen source, really, in hair color? I'm sorry? It's in your peroxide, right? So it's in your developer. All peroxide is water and oxygen. So when you hear 40 volume is bad, it's not bad. 40 volume is great. 40 volume is just as aggressive as 10 volume is by itself. It's what you put it with that creates the aggressiveness. This makes sense. So realistically, your guests don't need oxygen to breathe in order to process. So you can stick your guest head in outer space. She'd have no skin. But her hair would look amazing, right? She'd disintegrate, but she'd look amazing hair. So the deal is your oxygen source has nothing to do with the air you breathe. The reason why when you turn the hair like this, hair color doesn't process on the inside, it's the same reason why women in this room or men that have long hair and put their hair in their towel and twist it, where does all the water go? To the outside. When you twist it, where does all your hair color go? To the outside. That's making sense. So in this circumstance here, if you want your colors to be bright, or you have a redhead or a blonde, and you really want to make the color pop, if you smash the colors together, the colors have the aggression-ness that it can work more properly. So if you want your color to work more aggressive or make your colors more poppy, either put foil placements in between, or when you're doing them, keep them more separated. That's why we always say, pull the hair apart. That way processing time will lessen up and the product will be more aggressive and you'll get brighter and lighter results. So this makes sense, everybody? Cool. So that's what we did through the top or through the back and the sides here. Now through the top, you'll notice, all we did here is we did a back-to-back highlight with 9GB and yellow high fusion. That's all we did at the top here. But you also notice that our hair becomes a little bit more mauve-y or lighter in example up here. Same idea. We took our 3VR 40 volume, or 3VR 40 volume, placed at the base, and then we went back over with 12 Ashen Violet with 40 volume. Now you might say, well, why don't you just put the 12 AV into the 3VR? Here's why. If we put the 12 AV into the 3VR, you're going to make that color immediately become hollow. Because the 12 alkalinity compared to a 3 is going to make that color very, very aggressive and makes the color more transparent. We wanted to keep the depth of the level 3, we wanted to make it more lighter, per se, or pastel in color. So we placed the 12 over the top. By doing that, if you place them in the bowl together, those colors will marry, which means the dye molecules will meet and they'll connect. by keeping them separated, the dye molecules are just dating. Make sense? In a nice way, right? So, when you're doing reds, or you're doing blondes, or you're doing colors you want to change the finishes on, think about taking those colors in deep tone. For example, when you're doing low lights on blondes, I really love HGG. I think it's a great color. Unfortunately, I think some of my blondes seems a little bit dark. So when you're doing a low light, think about doing an 8GG color fusion, 20 volume, and then placing a 12GO, 30 volume on top of it. You're going to maintain the gold of that, but you're going to pull that color more transparent, but not hollow. Whenever you overlap your colors, you're creating shelves. Create your deepest portion of your shelf first, so the color that's on top becomes your reflect. This makes sense to everybody? Cool. So if we bring up Whitney real fast.